What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you again on YouTube, and today I've got a DVD haul. I picked up some DVDs recently, and I wanted to kind of show them off real quick. I'll be reviewing these movies in my Tales from the Fort column coming up pretty soon, but I wanted to just show you guys what I got and give you a little background on them real quick. So the first one is Goonies. I don't think I ever owned this movie. As a kid, I've seen it 1,000 times, of course. It is an absolute cult classic. Great movie. We all know about Goonies, but I haven't seen it in years. It was one of those ones, much like Beetlejuice from the last haul, that I saw a lot as a kid and haven't seen really at all as an adult. It's been years, so I'm looking forward to rewatching Goonies and doing a review for it. Super excited about that. The next one is Wes Craven. Rest in peace, Wes. Deadly Friend. This is a classic cult horror film, 80s cheesy standard fare. Deadly Friend is one of the lesser known films by horror master Wes Craven. Again, he passed away recently, very sad. But this was one that I had on VHS when I was a kid, recorded off TV I think, and I watched it all the time. Fell in love with it, as cheesy as it is. The classic basketball scene, Christy Swanson. Really good movie. I watched this one again last night. So I'm going to be doing a throwback review for it very soon. Huge fan of this movie and holds up well as an adult. Big upgrade for my collection. Deadly Friend. Next we have Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. This one also is kind of a new age classic. It is one of the better horror, I can't say franchises because there's only 2 films, but House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, both are awesome. Rob Zombie's original work usually is pretty good. There are some exceptions in there. But this was a really good movie. Really kind of visceral and kind of really had a lot of violence and blood and sexuality and language. And of course, you know, Sherry Moon Zombie and Sid Haig and kind of the same cast he puts in all of his films. But I did quite enjoy this movie. It has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre flair to it if you haven't seen it. It's really well done overall. This was probably his best film, I think, was House of a Thousand Corpses. So I'm looking forward to watching that one again. This one is another upgrade from VHS to DVD. Friday the 13th, Part 9, The New Blood. Or, I'm sorry, Part 7, The New Blood. Part 7, The New Blood, I'm sorry. This is the one where Jason Meets Carrie was the tagline. I had this on VHS. It was the first Friday I ever saw, actually. This was the first Friday the 13th film and Jason film I ever saw. Watched it a ton as a kid. The tape actually wore out that I watched it so much, so I had to get an upgrade on DVD. But this is one of the films that made me fall in love with horror. This is where Jason meets Tina, who is a psychic, and they have a supernatural battle of sorts. It's one of the better, more underrated Jasons, I think. And I always was in love with it, so good to have it on DVD. Next I have My Bloody Valentine, the original from the 80s. This is one that I kind of glossed over, skipped over for a long time. I didn't really, I watched it I think once or twice when I was younger, and I just couldn't really remember much about it. I watched the remake, which was shot here in Pittsburgh, and I wasn't a big fan of the remake. I know it gets a lot of popularity, it's very well talked about, but I wasn't a fan of the remake, so I wanted to go back and get the DVD for the original and check that out again because I haven't seen it as an adult. So I'm looking forward to watching this again and actually doing a review for it because it is a cult classic. It is probably one of the more famous and popular horror films of the 80s slasher genre, which is my favorite genre. Next we have another DVD upgrade for my VHS collection, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Once again, if you guys can't tell by now, Wes Craven is my all-time favorite director. I'm so sad to see him go. But I love this one because it was kind of Scream before Scream was made. This was one of Wes's last efforts before Scream started, and he sort of made it the witty kind of movie inside a movie, crossing the barrier between movie and real life, turning Freddy into a real life character. He also was in this movie and had Robert Englund play himself and Freddy. So there was a lot of crossing the barrier and doing different stuff and making this kind of a different kind of a hybrid movie. And also, of course, has Nancy back in her famous role as well. So I love this movie. It's one of the best entries in the Freddy series, and I'm excited to get it on DVD. I also have Shaun of the Dead. Another one that I've only actually seen this one once or twice. I know it's one of the favorite horror comedies of all time for everyone. I quite enjoyed it when I watched it, but I haven't seen it in a while. I did watch it once or twice when it first came out. Really enjoyed it, but haven't seen it since, and didn't own the DVD, so I wanted to pick this up. So super, super excited to watch this again and do a review on it as well. And finally, I have a non-horror film here. It's an aberration, but Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 2. This is the final in the 4-movie series. Love me some Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen. The entire cast does a really good job. I saw all three. I think I own all three on DVD. I saw the last two in theaters, and I have not seen this one yet, Mockingjay Part 2. So I'm looking forward to completing the collection and being able to finally watch this. Super excited again. Katniss Everdeen's a great character. I think everyone does a good job in these films, and I loved all three of the first three of the films. So again, which one's your favorite out of this bunch? Have you seen all these or any of these? Do you like or dislike them, and why? What do you think of this collection, and what do you think of my thoughts on them? Tell me down below in the comments section. And which one of these, if any and all, do you want to see reviewed on my channel from Tales from the Fort? Because I'll be doing some of these soon if you request them or you like them. So let's hear back from you guys soon. And until then, stay scared, lock your doors, dim the lights, and enjoy the movies. I will see you guys soon.